Hi everyone, and welcome to this video where I'll present a new tool that I stumbled upon a few days ago. It's a tool from Builder.io. Actually, it's a plugin for Figma from Builder.io that connects directly to Lovable. And for those of you that don't know what Lovable or Lovable.dev is, it's a full stack coding AI that can essentially create any app or website or whatever, basically. So it's like ChatGPT, but where ChatGPT mostly gives you like the raw code that you then need to use in your own coding environment. Lovable has the entire environment gathered in the same interface. So you can just ask it to, you can prompt it to create any sort of app and work together with Lovable, and it will create the app in whatever tech stack you choose, whether that's React, Next, Vue.js, or anything essentially. Lovable is not the only tool of this kind. We've talked about other similar tools on the channel. We talked a lot about Replit in the first episode of House Talk. There's also bold.new and so on. But Lovable is a really strong contender in this space, and then it happens to be the platform that Builder.io chose to integrate with. So let's just quickly look at the announcement from Builder.io's website. So let me just share. Yeah. So as you see, turn Figma designs into full stack apps using Lovable and Builder.io. So essentially Figma to Builder.io to Lovable. And as you see, it's like a plugin for Figma, and they show the workflow here, which is not really a workflow because it's so simple. You have a frame in Figma, you select that frame, you press export in the plugin, and then the last step is open in Lovable. It's so simple. And when I saw this, I was like, seriously, is this really happening now? Like, it's gonna revolutionize so many workflows. I think a constraint was always that you really had to explain in detail how it should look. Like, you actually had to communicate the design through the prompting, which was not always very accurate. And you can go back and forth a lot, like, hey, can you please tweak that padding? So it wasn't the best. I mean, you can also drag in screenshots of however you envision something to look, but it's not at this point very accurate. So I think it's so powerful to be able to design something in Figma and then export it directly to a platform like Lovable and just start having it help you just create and implement like the full stack version of this product you're working on. So yeah, of course you should, before activating this plugin, you should also have a Lovable account, which you can create on Lovable.dev. You can also use our affiliate link down below when signing up. So what we're going to do in this video is that we will do just a simple app. I mean, we'll just try to see how it works. I mean, I actually didn't have that much time to play with it yet. I tried a few things which worked great, but I haven't actually tried doing like a full project. So I think we should see like how quickly we can actually make something really powerful. So let me share my screen with Figma. Okay, so as you can see, I did create just a test interface in Figma in advance using the internal design system we have at house. So I just thought up like a really simple and quick concept. So essentially it's almost like a ChatGPT clone. You can chat with an AI, but instead of chatting about anything, it will be like a sort of a brainstorm assistant for you. Like if you have an idea, you say, okay, I want to build like a new app, then you can sort of bounce that idea in this chat interface. Essentially, I mean, you can do the same in ChatGPT, but it's just to test out how quickly we can make something like this with a unique design that's not based on like default design components. One thing to note is that everything you do in Figma needs to be auto layout. So it needs to have some constraints, which means that Builder.io will have a easier time figuring out how to position elements and how elements should scale and sort of position and stretch and so on. If you just place all the elements with absolute positioning it's very difficult for Builder.io to make like a real responsive layout. So anything you do, make it make it with auto layout. I mean, I can just show like just an example. So if we create a frame, and in the frame we create like a box. So now this box is absolutely positioned within this frame, which is not so good for in the context of Builder.io. So what we want to do is we would, in this case, turn the parent, which is a frame, into an auto layout. So if you put this at the middle, it'll go to the middle, bottom, and so on. We can also have multiple boxes we can copy and paste. It will just add them like this. And here we have like other thing, like we can add some margins or like gap between the objects. We can do that, and we can even add like top side margins and top paddings and so on. We can put them all in the middle and everything. So by doing it this way, Builder.io will know exactly how to export or represent the design in code. Okay, so let's delete this for now. And I guess we should just try to export this to Lovable. And I haven't, as mentioned, tried exporting this yet, so it's going to be really interesting to see how it looks. I'm sure there'll probably be some bugs, but I would trade that any day for like just having a conversation back and forth with an AI to adjust some things rather than starting completely from scratch when building something. So yeah, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so what you do is that you select the frame, and or actually, first of all, you need to open the plugin. So you go to plugins, and then you search for, let me see, you can press manage plugins, and then in manage plugins, you can search for essentially Builder.io AI powered Figma to code, and click it, and it will open this up. You might need to log in. There's a button here for logging in if you're not already logged in. It will open a browser, and then you log in to Builder or create an account at Builder.io, which is free. Okay, so the next step is that you select the frame that you would like to export to Lovable. So in this case, it's this frame, and it will show up. It will show the selected frame in the preview. The only thing you have to do is I would recommend being in the precise mode, which has pixel perfect result. Images are exported, and it will map the component into code as well. So yeah, easy on the other hand is like no setup required. I would assume you then don't have to do like the auto layout and so on. I'm not quite sure, but in any case, it's not as pixel perfect, and it will sort of approximate the designs. But let's try using the precise mode. Okay, we press export code, and so now you can either view the code in Builder, but what we actually want to do is we want to open it straight into Lovable. So we press this button. It will start analyzing the exported code. And as I remember, this step is a bit longer. I mean, not super long. And I mean, it's fine. You save so much time already. So see, it's already generating React components. In this case, it chose React, but technically you can just ask it to convert it to something else later on, like Vue or whatever you want. I mean, I personally prefer React and Next.js, so I think this is a great choice. But yeah, it's really flexible. Okay, generating more React components, making them really good. Setting up routing, so this is sort of the navigation within the app. Figuring styles, yeah. I mean, this is already would have taken days at this point. So let's okay. So here we have a status of Lovable then working with what was generated by Builder.io. Okay, so as we can see, it looks pretty good. I mean, there are obviously a few things we need to adjust. That's also expected. So first of all, you can see that it's not full screen. I don't actually know how to represent that in Figma because the main container, you can't really put that at 100% height. So it always have a fixed height. But it's not really a big deal. We'll just ask Lovable to fix that. And then you see there is some color or font that's incorrect, and this should not be sort of full width and so on. So what we should do is we should start basically working on a prompt that should fix some of these issues. Okay, so what we can do is basically just present the issues to Lovable. So what I would do in this situation is I would first of all just take a screenshot of the current state and just sort of drag that into Lovable, and then I would say, hey, great job converting my Figma into code. I mean, always be good to the AI. We never know when they're going to take over, so might as well be friends with them. And okay, so I noted a few issues. Okay, so we can make a list of issues. App is not full height. Please turn it into an app like behavior that fills out the screen without any universal scroll. I don't wanna risk that it adds like a scroll bar because we really don't want that. And then we can always add something like, do not change anything else in this regard, just to sort of make sure it doesn't get any good ideas like, oh, I can also add like this thing or whatever, because we really want to have it respect sort of this design that we created in Figma. Okay, do not work on any functionality yet. Just tweak the UI issues, just so it doesn't think it needs to start implementing like the actual app. But I think that's it. I mean, there are a few things like, I don't know if the font is correct and there are some paddings and stuff, but it's really minor, I would say. And we can always tweak those things later. But let's just see how it works with this prompt. Okay, so we will send it the prompt and it should start working on a new iteration. And what's really cool about Lovable is you can always go back to previous sort of iterations. So if there is anything you want to roll back, you can always just press at a sort of a previous breakpoint, so to say. Okay. So it's edited 5 files and it says it's updated the UI to make the app full height, which it did. Changed button text color, yes. Made the input text white while maintaining the placeholder text color. I mean, there is a bit of an issue here, but we can deal with that later on. So, okay, so what you'll see now, I will speed up the process because I'm gonna do a lot of back and forth with the AI to make the technical part work. I think I'll do another video one day, like on how to debug and how to create functionality with Lovable. But since this video is mainly focused on the UI, I will just quickly sort of let you see the process. So, I would like it to connect to OpenAI so we can use the GPT models from OpenAI so it can actually have AI capabilities. I would also like to add a backend so we can have support for multiple users and they can sign in and they will see their saved chats every time and so on. So, so we can ask Lovable to start implementing that. Okay, so what we should explain is that the concept of this app is to be an AI idea generator, but the interface is like ChatGPT. Yeah, actually we can say, please implement backend. Which is Supabase. It's directly implemented with Supabase, which is a really sort of user-friendly backend interface where you can basically create a backend, create an API, connect it to your app. It's really a breeze to do. I mean, you would probably also instruct it to do another kind of backend or even connect to an existing backend you have, but it's just really easy to use Supabase. Okay, please implement backend Supabase user login functionality. Connect the chat interface to OpenAI, and then say something like, I will provide you with API key when you ask. Okay, so let's, I mean, I'm sure this prompt is not perfect, but I'm just trying to provide as many details as possible to the AI. And then I'm sure that there will also be some bugs, but we'll fix those along the way. So I think let's just try, first of all, to send this prompt to Lovable and see what it will do with it. Okay, so it noticed that this project needs to be connected to Supabase first to handle authentication and so on. That's fine. We basically just press Supabase and say connect up to a project. So after you connect to Supabase, it might be a while, like a short while, before it's actually integrated. So just give it a few minutes. Okay, so now we have idea generator as a project and we connect it. Okay, so it says I'm now connecting to your Supabase project to gather your database structure, tables, and security settings. That's perfect. And it's restarting and it says Supabase connected. Okay, so everything should be good. So now connected. And I think what we should do is we should just copy this prompt we did and just instruct it again, because now it's connected to Supabase, so it should be okay doing all these implementations. So let's see. Okay, it says, let's start by setting up the database tables needed for our application. Yep, so it's creating profiles, it's creating a table for ideas, it's creating a table for messages, creating policies. This is great. So we have to apply, we have to provide an OpenAI API key to the form. And this is so it can connect to OpenAI and use whatever credits we have on OpenAI. So we press the add API key, but actually first let me go and copy an API key. So if you're unsure how to do this, essentially I'm logged into to platform.openai.com here, and you go to the API keys section in the left-hand menu and press the create new secret key button. So you basically just create the secret key, and obviously this should not be shared. So create secret key, add API key in Lovable. We enter it here and submit it. Okay, API key is added successfully. Okay, great. Now that we have the OpenAI API key stored securely in Supabase, let's implement the authentication system and chat functionality. We will start by creating an edge function for OpenAI integration and then implement the authentication and chat features. So exciting. Wonder if we can see like the real-time progress. Yeah, we can actually see everything it's coding in real time. The future is going to be so wild. Okay, it seems like it's already starting to wrap up. Okay, so it even made a login screen, kind of inspired by the by the style of our existing app. Okay, so let's see what it says. I've implemented the core functionality, including authentication, chat with OpenAI integration, and message persistence. Okay, so as you see, we have an error within the app. It failed to load ideas, and we also encountered like a compile or runtime error. So we can simply just press the try to fix button and then see. It says for the code person, I get the error. Please think step by step in order to resolve it. Okay, so I guess it was because when we added the API key before for OpenAI, it also had the apply changes button. So we forgot to actually press that, and I guess you both have to provide the API key and also apply the backend changes. So we press apply changes and then see. So the migration is being applied. Okay, it has been applied successfully. And something like also really cool about Lovable and actually also the other tools is that you can publish it straight away. So you can actually have your app or your website, whatever hosted directly at Lovable. I mean, you can still export it and host it yourself, even integrate it with GitHub and so on, but you can actually build a service and just host it immediately and scale it immediately. So it's like really easy to now launch a project directly. Okay. So it seems that it actually put a hello here. Let me try to refresh this and sign in again. Okay, so it's opening this chat. Anyone there? Okay, new error. I see the error indicates that the messages table is already part of the real-time application. Sometimes when it happens, I have my suspicions. Like usually it will be like, it really thinks that it got a breakthrough, but usually there'll still be an error. But this is just the game. Like, again, it's so fascinating. We can even already do this at this point. I feel like we're living in some kind of sci-fi world almost. Okay, so it says it's fixed it now. Let's see. I still have my doubts, but I might be proven wrong. Okay, that's good. Oh yeah, okay. Can we actually create a new idea? So now, as you saw in the video, there was a lot of back and forth, but now we're at a stage where a lot of the functionality is working. We can create new user accounts, we can log in, and we can actually chat with an AI. It's not really formatted as a chat interface. I don't know where like those components went, because it actually created the Figma designs for those. But yeah, I guess it disappeared in the process, but at least the rest of the UI is still there, and it works. I can say like, please help me with an app idea. I can send it. It will come up here, and yeah, okay. And it will come with an AI reply. So what I think we should do is just, we're not going to finish the UI completely because there are a lot of tweaks we could do, but let's just like make it a bit more nice. So what we can do is we can go to Figma and just do like a screenshot of this part and paste it in. And then I would say something like, remember the original implementation, please integrate this interface. Okay, I think something like this. I don't expect this to be perfect now. And as I've said so many times, like these tools are evolving rapidly. So even if something seems a bit like a longer process now, like first of all, imagine how long it would take to actually implement this manually, but also just remember that like it's gonna accelerate from here, like how good these tools will actually be. Okay, we try to send this prompt. Let's see how it goes. I'll help you improve the chat interface by implementing proper chat bubbles and rendering the buttons correctly. I'll update the chat message and chat input components to match the designs. Oh, thank you very much. It's deeply appreciated. Okay, let's actually see what it's doing in real time here. So it's coding. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see if it works now. Yep, technology solutions, and it comes with a reply. And then it creates like new sort of sub features, or like basically topics within technology solutions you could work on. And let's say, just for the fun of it, AI and machine learning. Okay. And let's see, comes with a new reply. That's a broad topic with many interesting avenues. So specifically, we would like to focus on current trends. Yeah. And it even gives some options. Okay, so it seems to be working. Obviously, we need to really sort of streamline this and make the UI nice and so on. I think one thing we should try before we wrap up is to say, okay, the left side menu doesn't show anything right now. It should be possible to create new idea chats from here. Okay, let's see. And as you can see, obviously, there are still a few issues. This is not really with the front-end app, but with the AI, or the AI thinks that it can send some, like in this case, it's Markdown, which the front-end still doesn't know how to render. So it will show it in this sort of format. So there will always be some issues that you just need to continuously communicate with the AI. about. But obviously, again, this is going to be less and less over time once these tools really become more advanced, and maybe they integrate like newer AI models like the OpenAI O3 model, which just launched recently. Like once that's integrated into tools like these, I think it's going to become absolutely insane. So let's log in. Of course, some few layout issues. We need this to be fixed and so on, but we'll do that later. So new idea. I wonder if you can create. Okay. We need to fix this. Okay. Let's see if it's fixed. Okay. It seems to work now. You can go between ideas. This is a new one. Say hello. Okay. How can I assist you today? I'd like to talk about app ideas. Okay. So come with some options. We can say brainstorm ideas. And then here we get the like the issue I talked about. But I guess you get the point now. In a very short time, we've created a full app that's actually almost, I mean, it's not pixel perfect in any way. Actually, it's almost pixel perfect. There are a few issues, but I think we can quite easily solve these and it's going to just become better. But in a very short amount of time, we've created a full app. We've exported a design from Figma, exported it directly into Lovable.dev. That's created a full stack app connected to OpenAI, connected to a backend that represents all the data, even a login system for users. It's trained. I mean, to some degree, it's trained on our use context. Like the AI knows that it should be sort of an idea generator, like a brainstorm agent. And yeah, and we have the whole chat interface. And essentially, like we can even try just like if we press publish, we can make it a public service. But let's just do like private. Okay, then we can deploy it. And essentially with one click, like you can just deploy this service you just designed in Figma like an hour ago. That's then now live on the internet and working. It's just incredible. Okay, so the site is published and it gives you a temporary URL, but you can just connect your own domain name to this URL as well. So we can go to it. Okay. Test sign in, and essentially we have access to the app here. Please create options for me just to see what it says. Okay, so it works. It's connected to OpenAI. Again, I wanna fix all these issues, but you can either choose to just continuously communicate with the AI to fix, or I think what's gonna become really great is once you can actually just push in new changes to specific components from Figma directly into Lovable, so you don't need to export a whole project each time, but you can continuously tweak, because I guess like something with Lovable is that it will sometimes change your design slightly over time once you start implementing the functionality. Like you could see, for instance, that our message field changed, like the icon changed. We had sort of these icons beforehand, and it changed the styling a bit. So in time that will also be better, but once we can just export, like then in the future we might be able to say, okay, we have this specific, we need to export that into an existing project on Lovable. And I think that's going to be so good, because then we can actually continuously work on projects and keep improving projects over time. And please remember, if you didn't sign up for Lovable.dev yet, I would recommend it. It's an amazing tool, and we have an affiliate link down below in the description that you can use when signing up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like the video and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you and see you soon. Have a great day. Bye.